and welcome to Season 6, Episode 1 of the F.E.C with Cookye Show. Today's topic of choice, we're going to cover a new announcement by Nintendo Direct made just a couple of weeks ago on a new all-female fighter for the Nintendo Switch. This game is called SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. Now, could this be, or could this possibly be, a spiritual successor to the Neo Geo Pocket Color's SNK Gals Fighter, a Shoujo Fighter game made almost 15 years ago? Well, let's see. So thank you for joining me on this new season of the F.E.C with Cookye Show. I want to thank all of you guys out there for still tuning into my channel. And if you could be so kind by clicking the button below to the subscribe channel, this will make my channel also much better as I work towards the quality and the content of delivering information and in-depth insight on the lore of fighting games within the FGC. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I'm going to get started. So, to understand the new game that's coming out this summer by Nintendo for the Nintendo Switch, we must go back into the past to talk about the first iteration of the game that is possibly the predecessor of the new spiritual successor. Now, back when Neo Geo Pocket Color was released in 1999, they created a whole plethora of their pocket versions of their SNK library. Metal Slug, SNK versus Capcom, which was Capcom versus SNK, which is a pocket version, Fatal Fury, Samurai Spirits, etc., etc. Now, they came up with a new idea of a video game that was never even released, not even in the arcades, but for the pocket, an all shoujo female fighting game featuring nothing but SNK girls called SNK Gals Fighters. Now, for all of you like me who's into the shoujo all-female fighting game scene of Japan, you know, we know of Asuka burning F.E.C 120%, Advanced VG, Soko Sektokai, the Sonic Council, Fist, Pretty Fighter X, etc., etc. It has a big following in Japan. Shoujo fighter games in general are big in Japan. In America, they never really hit it off that big, unless there's some sexual reference very similar to like Rumble Roses that was like released for like PlayStation 2 back in the day, where female wrestlers are, you know, getting it on in cream corn and mud. If anything is not sexual in America dealing with something like that, then it's, you know, it's not going to be as much as popular as the Japanese audience. But anyway, getting back on topic, SNK took a risk anyway by doing an all-female fighting game released in America with only their cast of female fighters. Now, as the story goes, you have Shermie, Shiki, Mai Shiranui, Nakaruru, Akari, Yuri, Leona, Whip, and even Yuki, the brother of Kyo Kusanagi, who only really shows up in one game called the King of Fighters Kyo, which is the story version of the King of Fighters on a PlayStation disc back in the day. Even she shows up as a fighter. She's not really much of a fighter, but I guess in this game they put her in as an Easter egg character. And all these girls are fighting in this tournament organized by the mysterious Miss X. Yes, if you look above, this is a picture of Miss X. Now, Miss X happens to be a Yuri Yagami and as a drag queen, his alter ego, and he organizes what he calls the Queen of Fighters tournament, and anybody who can beat him, or in this case his alter ego as Miss X, will win this device called the K Talisman, and this jewel, or this jewel device, can grant any women their wish of choice. So of course, Mai Shiranui, the Fatal Fury series, wants to marry Andy Bogart, and Shiki, female that only shows up in the Samurai Spirits 3D games back in the day, wants to get reattached with her baby who she was separated with, if you know the Samurai Spirits storyline. Shermie, who was introduced in King of Fighters 97 as the Orochi team, I believe. It was either 96 or 97. My memory escapes me right now. She wants a big hamster cage for her hamster. Well, nevertheless, these girls are fighting in the Queen of Fighters to all win that K Talisman device from Miss X, aka a Yuri Yagami and drag, so that they can go get their wish granted. The game was moderately successful, as you can see from the pictures in the video above me, and you know, became a really big cult classic along fighting fanatics, and especially people like me who really love all-female fighting games and love that genre, became very famous for us, and we keep that game alive. We always thought maybe someday in the future they will go and actually release a real full-size version of the game with all the SNK fighters, all the SNK women actually. And if they wanted to expand it, do a crossover between SNK and Capcom, the best battle of the babes or something like that. With today's technology, I would love to see Sammy get in on this and do a tag team or triple tag team cross battle between the women of Sammy, let's say Melia Rage from Guilty Gear, and Lychee Fei Ling of Blaze Blue, and the females of SNK and the females of Capcom in one big battle royale where you could do 3-on-3 teams. That would be an excellent idea. I think now that the American populace is a lot more open to Japanese ideas, and their games are coming more and more in on the West, getting translated, that it would be a good time to actually introduce something new. I think everybody would be in on it, and for once we can finally get past the concept of a fighting game with all female characters will be just as popular as something as cream corn wrestling that you would see in like Rumble Roses. So a little bit more about the game. I'm truly hoping that they bring back the mysterious Miss X, Ayuri Yagami in drag. A little insight about that. Ayuri Yagami is dressed as a 1960s, 1970s Japanese schoolgirl gangster, where the schoolgirl gang look was rising in Japan, Tokyo during the 1960s because women were not allowed to be in male gangs. So they started their own gang, and out of that, the popularity spawned an anime called Subikan Deka. Subikan Deka, as you can see above me right here. Now, this anime follows the heroine of a woman named Saki Asamiya as she's released from jail to go help the police commissioner solve some crimes about Japanese schoolgirl gangsters starting up trouble throughout Tokyo. But the most interesting part is the dress attire of wear. She's wearing a long dress with a mask and a sailor uniform all the way down to the ground, which is the signature attire for a Japanese schoolgirl gangster back in the 1970s and 80s. Miss X, aka Ayuri Yagami, is wearing the same outfit as an homage to that old anime, Subikan Deka, and to also pay respect to the Japanese schoolgirl gangster female back from the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. So for all of you who don't know what the reference is, you can replay SNK Gals Fighters again for the Neo Geo Pocket Color and go to Miss X, or fight your way up to Miss X if you don't unlock her, in story mode, to see exactly what she is wearing and referencing from that era of Japan. Very historical, very interesting time. If you want to know more about the Japanese schoolgirl gangster of the 1960s and 70s, or the anime Subikan Deka, please look at this link below this video, and that'll take you more to that. Now, pushing forward on to the summer of 2018, I'm very interested in seeing what Nintendo has to offer with this new SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. With this game, the whole idea is that you're going to pick two girls, of course, from SNK's library of, gorgeous babes and female fighters, and you're pitted against another team of two of the females, and you're fighting it out. But somehow, the only way to win the battle is to do a dream finish. As I was watching the trailer, as you can see right now, that I have playing above me, it shows that you can have customizable clothing. I guess to appeal to the American audience, you can have all the girls wear bikinis, very something similar to Dead or Alive. I'm quite sure there'll be very little editing, if no editing at all, to see the jiggle factor, because that's what most American FGC players are going to want to see, is the gorgeous women and uncontrollable jiggle boob physics. As for myself, I really want to see what they do with the storyline. It's nice that they took this game to the next level, and I hope it really is a spiritual successor to the SNK Gals Fighters of 1999 from the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I would be more than happy to see if they expanded on the story. It looks like they got some inspiration from that game, because judging upon the picture right here, and some shots in the video, they're fighting in a cathedral, and that cathedral looks like a full version of the cathedral that you're fighting Miss X, aka Ayori Yagami, back in the pocket version of SNK Gals Fighters. So I'm like, okay, are they going to bring back some of those stages? Because that would be great. I'd love to see Shermie's beach stage. I'd like to see the bathhouse stage. All of this that's seen in the pocket version made full to life for this new game that'll come out this summer, hopefully. What I do hope is that they'll add more female characters. So since they're talking about the popular SNK female characters, I hope that they open it up to the entire library of female characters, especially some that haven't been seen, like obscure characters like Sinclair from Art of Fighting 3. Who remembers Sinclair, really, from Art of Fighting 3? You know, can she be up in that game? You know, characters like that. So I'm really interested in seeing what Nintendo has to offer. So what do you think? What are your thoughts on the new SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy? And were you one of the people back in the day playing the Neo Geo Pocket Color and had SNK Gals Fighters for that system? Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And as always, thank you for tuning in to this edition, Season 6, Episode 1 of the Fo-Sung Elizabeth Cookie Show. I'll be doing my very best to at least release one episode a week. Because since I'll be streaming on one day throughout the week, but releasing one episode on another part of the week. So stay tuned. Please subscribe to my channel at the button that you see right there. And if you have any topics that you'd like for me to talk about, also put that in the comments below. I really do my very best to go and respond to those comments. They mean a lot to me. And for the small little fan base that I have going on, I want to be able to share my knowledge and expertise of, of video games and fighting games with the world and with the community of the FGC. Thank you so much.